All right, let's get right into it. For what feels like forever, the story of renewable energy has been all about one thing: growth. Getting bigger, getting cheaper, getting faster. But what happens when a revolution moves so fast that it starts to, well, trip over its own feet? Today, we're going to look at why the incredible success of clean energy is creating a whole new and, honestly, fascinating set of problems.
And let's be clear, the growth is absolutely staggering. We're talking about deploying renewables at a pace that is completely unprecedented in all of human history. The momentum is just undeniable. On the surface, it really looks like the ultimate success story.
And that's the big question, isn't it? That's the paradox. How on earth can building too much clean energy too fast possibly be a bad thing? Well, it turns out that actually making the power is only half the battle. So first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this boom. This isn't just some little trend. It's a fundamental reshaping of our entire global energy system, and it's happening right now, in real time. The numbers are truly mind-bending. Just look at this number. The world is on track to add 4,600 gigawatts of new renewable capacity by 2030. Now, to give you some perspective, just 1 gigawatt can power around 750,000 homes. So we're talking about a massive, massive amount of new clean power. It's basically enough to double our entire global clean energy fleet in just a few short years. And all of this growth is really driven by one simple fact.
But yeah, all of this incredible growth, this is where the growing pains really start to kick in. It's that classic problem of success creating its own challenges. The systems we built for an old fossil fuel world, they are seriously struggling to keep up with this new clean energy reality. You see, this whole revolution was basically won on cost. We spent a decade just laser-focused on making renewables cheap. And honestly, we succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. In most places on the planet today, it is significantly cheaper to build a brand new solar farm than it is to build a new coal or natural gas plant. And this chart just lays it all out, crystal clear. It shows you just how dramatic that price drop has been. You can see it right there. That bar for new solar is consistently lower than building new coal and new gas. This amazing economic advantage is what's fueling the entire boom, but it's also causing a huge traffic jam on our energy highways.
And that brings us to a really important word you need to know: curtailment. And it's a shocking concept, really. It means that perfectly good, clean electricity from solar panels and wind turbines is being intentionally thrown away. Just think about that for a second. In places like India and China, massive solar parks are literally being told to switch off in the middle of a sunny day, simply because the power grid is full. It just can't handle any more juice. I love this quote, because it just perfectly captures the entire problem. We've built these incredible engines of clean power, but we kind of forgot to upgrade the pipes. That plumbing, the grids, the transmission lines, the batteries for storage, that is now the single biggest bottleneck holding everything back. And fixing that plumbing? Well, it's not going to be cheap. The International Energy Agency estimates that global investment in our electrical grids needs to double by 2030, just to keep pace. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars every single year. And without it, all that cheap, clean power we're building, a lot of it will just go to waste. So, if the plumbing is the problem, how are different countries trying to fix it? Let's turn to India, which is a really interesting case. They've got a unique and, frankly, surprisingly effective approach. It's this fascinating model where government policy, market prices, and actual demand are all pulling in the same direction. Okay, so the cool thing about India's approach is that they're attacking this problem from all sides at once. It's not just one policy, it's a whole interlocking strategy. They're going small with a massive rooftop solar scheme for homes. They're going big by using competitive auctions to drive down costs for huge projects. They're getting clever by bringing old hydropower plants back online to help balance the grid. And they're building up their own domestic manufacturing so they don't have to rely on anyone else. It's incredibly comprehensive. And you know what? It's working. This strategy has created enough certainty to get big money off the sidelines. Major domestic players like these are pouring billions into the sector because they're confident in the long-term contracts and the predictable prices that the government's auction system provides. But, and there's always a but, India isn't immune to that plumbing problem. It still faces two major hurdles. First, you guessed it, the grid. It's the weakest link. It's just not expanding fast enough to move all that power from the sunny and windy parts of the country to the big cities and factories that need it. And second, while the big guys are doing great, smaller developers still have a tough time getting loans, which can really slow things down. Now, if we zoom back out, you see that every major economic power is hitting its own version of this exact same wall. The goal is the same for everyone: deploy and use more clean energy. But the specific bottlenecks they're facing are unique to each region's own politics and history. This table is a fantastic snapshot of that global landscape. Let's just walk through it real quick. You've got China, where the state-led model was so successful at building stuff that it actually created a massive oversupply. Now they have to figure out how to make renewables profitable in a real market. Then there's the US, which has tons of investment money ready to go, but actually getting a permit to build anything is painfully slow. And Europe? It's kind of tangled up in its own bureaucratic red tape, with perfectly good projects stuck waiting for approvals for years. And running underneath all of this is this massive geopolitical shift. The center of gravity for the entire clean energy supply chain has decisively moved east. Asia, led by China, but now also including India, Vietnam, and Malaysia, pretty much controls every part of it. And this is a really big deal, because it means the future of clean energy, the tech, the cost, the scale, is now being shaped by decisions made in Beijing and Delhi, not in Washington or Brussels. So, what does all this mean for the energy transition? It means the game has totally changed. That first phase, the let's just make it cheap phase, that's over. We won. The easy part is done. And this right here is the key takeaway. All these new, complicated problems, the gridlock, the financing issues, the supply chain politics, they aren't signs that this is failing. They are signs of maturity. This is what a real world-changing transition actually looks like. It's messy, it's complicated, and it is definitely happening. And that leaves us with the ultimate question for the future. The race is no longer just about who can stick the most solar panels on the ground. It's about who can build the smartest grids, who can create the most innovative financial tools, and who can build the most resilient supply chains. It's a race to actually use all this clean power we finally learned how to make so cheaply. And whoever wins that race, well, they're going to define the next chapter of our energy future.